you live from Rydell High. It's the 10-Point Podcast. My name is Bruce, and we go together like Rama Lama Lama Kadinga Kadinga Dong, podcasting forever. As Shawop Shawada Wada Yippity Boom De Boom, Chang Chang Changity Chang Shabop. That's the way it should be. Oh yeah. With me this
That's
week
got to be one of your best ones ever.
Try that without reading it.
Absolutely not. With me this week, first, he's got so many hickeys, people will think he's a leper. It's Chris.
Hey, man.
Very 50s hairdo he's got going on.
I'm trying it. It's not working. Oh, it's not.
It's not too
You
bad.
look like a vampire.
And secondly, he's not very hungry, so just give him a double polar burger with everything and a cherry soda with chocolate ice cream. It's Andy.
That's totally what I would do.
We are the 10-Point Podcast. You can find us wherever you get podcasts and on YouTube. Just search for 10-Point Podcast on YouTube. Click the subscribe button and like and all that sort of stuff. Social media channels, Twitter and Facebook, 10-Point Podcast on those as well. We're easily findable. Just Google 10-Point Podcast and you will find us. Our website, 10pointpodcast.com, for a whole bunch of stuff over there as well. That's it, really, is it? What have we been watching in the last week? Because where will we normally go next? I have very little to offer, so I'm going to throw it open to the floor. Who wants to suggest something good or bad?
I'm the same. Other than the second episode of Moon Knight and Halo, I've watched very little.
Until this moment, I'd forgotten about Halo since the last podcast. So, Moon Knight, how did you find episode 2 then, Chris?
It's good that you can actually see the Egyptian god thing.
Khonshu?
And you see him transform, you find out kind of a little bit of the backstory now. That's what's happening.
Still doesn't explain fuck all, but I'm liking it.
Yeah, I'm liking it. I don't really know you kind of know what's happening, but not why. Seems to be where they're at the moment. Like, all right, I understand what's going on, but why is all this happening? I heard in an interview that the guy who made it, one way or another, director or producer or whatever, said that they viewed it as 3 different bits. So episodes 1 and 2, episodes 2 and 3 and 4, episodes 5 and 6 are the 3. So we've had part 1 essentially of Moon Knight, as in kind of setting up who Stephen and Mark and Khonshu are, I think, and then the bad guy Arthur or whatever his name is.
I didn't realise Khonshu, the guy who did the voice, is him from Mythic Quest.
Aye,
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So
we had a
he's
good
nothing like him.
last episode. We're like, I recognise that voice, F. Murray Abraham. What have I seen him in? I was like, oh, he's in bits and pieces, but he's never the guy in anything I've seen. So, very good. But yeah, I'm intrigued to see where it's going. And also, it's not a theory I've seen or heard anywhere, but I feel like it is so separate from the rest of the MCU that I feel like this is going to be not a reveal or twist, but we're going to find out it's not happening now in terms of I think this could be a while ago. Like, this might not be 2024 or wherever we actually are. You know, I feel
this could be like a piece snap.
Exactly. Yeah. It could be, because there's nothing dates it. He always looks a bit out of fashion, and then the other people are all dressed half Egyptian or half. Just nothing dates it yet. And then his mobile phone was a really old mobile phone, and I thought that might be the giveaway that it's maybe back in time. But yeah, I have had no spoilers for that. It's just a theory that I've got that it might be a reveal that actually jump forward 10 years after the season's finished and he's joining the Avengers or something like that. But there we go. That's Moon Knight. Andy, have you watched anything interesting in the last week?
I did a double bill back to back at the cinema.
Mm-hmm.
Started off with Morbius.
Oh, I forgot about it. Yeah.
Don't waste your time. That is probably dog shite.
Is it as bad as everyone says?
Aye.
Okay.
Oh, really?
like Jared Leto, right? I feel sorry for this guy because he is a damn good actor. Like he is.
He's
like,
a franchise destroyer.
But he can kill a fuck. I wouldn't say it's him. Like, he is the best thing about the film. Like, he is brilliant in it. Like, unlike when he plays the Joker, he plays like what he was given. But yeah, he plays like Morbius, absolutely perfect. Everybody else around him just dies on their arse. And I mean, I hate Matt Smith with a passion, so yeah, he ruins anything. But the story is just nonsensical. The post credits is clever if they go with it, but they probably won't. It gives them an out. It's just Sony just don't know what they're doing. So, however, I watched that first.
Of course, yeah.
And then I went straight into Sonic 2. Absolutely banging. Like, that is a franchise right there. Now, I do fear because apparently Jim Carrey put a rumor out that he's retiring from acting, which cannot happen because I want Sonic 3 now.
Okay.
Because Sonic 2 is probably one of the best bits of cinema I've seen this year.
Oh, okay.
It's amazing.
I had heard it is a very it's the first one was good and well received, and this
Yeah.
one's more true to, I don't know, you've got Sonic lore. I don't know.
Yes,
like,
it very much
story
is.
Right, so this one's getting positively.
I haven't
It's-
seen
it's
any of the
Sonic-
trailer stuff. I want to see them in Sonic Land.
It's Sonic with like a kind of good story, is what I'll say. There's a bit like maybe 20 minutes, and I'm like, oh no, like I was like worried about like the sub story, but it all comes together, and it is just worth a watch. And then
Idris Elba as
post-credit
Knuckles.
scenes. Oh, he's amazing.
Right,
I want to see more. I want to see more Knuckles.
Because it seems weird on the trailer. It's like that is
He
not
is.
however it's Knuckles sounding.
Idris Elba probably steals this film. Like it's Jim Carrey's probably the best. Idris Elba comes a close second. Like he is amazing in it. Oscar worthy.
Oh,
There you go. I doubt it. I doubt he'll be
High praise, wasn't
rewarded.
I'm
by the-
telling you, Idris Elba, Oscar should get an Oscar for Knuckles.
See. And as I said at the beginning, I have very little to add from what I've watched in the last week, but because Moon Knight is on Disney Plus, I just generally just stick something on after it. So Winter Soldier was one of the things. I still maintain that is the best actual film in the MCU is the Winter Soldier. It's not as grand and as special as some of the Avengers ones, but the Winter Soldier is a really great film. But something I had to throw into the mix. If I was to make a MCU Marvel top 10, the MCU one-shot Hail to the King would be in my top 10. That's the one with Ben Kingsley's
in
Trevor,
the jail.
Yeah,
the prison.
Yeah.
It is an exceptional 12-minute long thing. It is absolutely fantastic. It is. There's not a bad bit in it. And yeah, I think if I was to do a top 10 MCU, I think Hail to the King would be number 10. Just how great it is.
The ones with Thor and his work buddy are quite good
Yeah.
as well. He just weaves his hammer line about.
It's like, it's like Team Thor or something like that, I think, isn't it? Because it was around Civil War where he wasn't involved and they did the Team Thor things. But yeah, nothing new at all from me. Moon Knight was as much as I'd done. So yeah, very much MCU heavy for me. Any other business, any other watches, anything, a thumbs up or thumbs down?
No, I'm
No, just Halo.
last Halo
Watch
season
Halo.
after this.
Okay, right. Better crack on then, because we've been running very long recently. So let's actually get into the podcast before we start wasting too much time.
I'm fleeing.
But-
I'm gonna be hammered soon.
Yes. And Andy contacted us. What would that be? 3 hours before the podcast was recording, saying that he was
Yeah.
like, half a bottle deep at that point.
I've only got a quarter left. I've only got enough for 2 more drinks. It's running-
Right.
running low.
Yes, let's do that. Right, point number 1 on the 10-point podcast. What's the point? The point this week: the 1978 romantic comedy musical.
Oh,
Grease.
he's dropped
I know.
already.
Looking forward to what we'll be watching, not the actual podcast. Grease, brought to us by Paramount. We have done them before: Forrest Gump, Beavis and Butthead, Napoleon Dynamite, and RSO, who we have never used before, but you can maybe spot a theme in their films they make. Grease, Tommy, Bugsy, and Saturday Night Fever. Yes, they make kind of musical movies, is what they do. So I fear we may never touch an RSO film again, but we'll see. The film, based on the musical by the same name by Jim Jacobs and Warren Casey. I can't find anything else that they were necessarily famous for. The film, made for the screen, I should say, by Bronte Woodard and Alan Carr. Nope, not that Alan Carr. A different
Ah.
Alan. They seem to have nothing but Grease credits that have been anything any sort of size, with the exception of one thing. 2 years after Grease came out, they made Can't Stop the Music, that appears to be a Village People movie, which I did not know existed. So I don't know if
Watch
it's like
that.
I would
Think
take
of the
watch that
first
just to
people.
see what it's like.
or do a film at the height of their popularity, I imagine. And that seems to be our creative background to this movie. Is it was a musical by people who did nothing else and written for the screen by people who did basically nothing else as well. The film, directed by Randall Kleiser. This was his big first thing that he directed was Grease, and then went on to direct The Blue Lagoon, Flight of the Navigator, White Fang, and then
It's gone.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kid.
Sorry, I've
which
just
I-
got that episode of South Park. I farted inside a Blue Lagoon.
Whenever I see Blue Lagoon, I always think of the chippies that you get up this neck of the woods. Yes, Honey, I Blew Up the Kid, also directed by him, and
What a
also
film.
Honey, I Blew Up the Audience, or something. He also directed like the theme park ride as well. So yeah, it ties back into us because we've done the Honey, I Blew Up the Kid franchise before.
Shrunk
The
the Kids.
film stars as Danny, John Travolta. I did a little bit more digging than I think I did last time we covered John Travolta. So his first kind of famous role was on a TV show called Welcome Back, Kotter. where he wasn't like the lead, but he was one of the main characters in it. And then he went on a 3-film streak of making Carrie, Saturday Night Fever, and Grease back to back to back. And then his time commitments to go back to the TV show kind of went away, and he became a movie star after that. And then pretty much made nothing successful until the Look Who's Talking series. Which again, to say they were successful, Quentin Tarantino pretty much is credited with reviving John Travolta's career with a film that came out 1 year after the third of the Look Who's Talking movies. So you could say if they were a success or if his career was dead. But yeah, Pulp Fiction, 1994, brought him back to popularity and also changed his character. Yes, Andy?
Yeah, so basically, I did try and get John Travolta on the podcast tonight. So I was hanging out in Morrison's and Weatherspoons just to see if he would show up because he was down in my neck of the woods. Done a lot of Weatherspoons, a lot of Morrison's, couldn't find him.
I thought in one of our bizarre 10-point podcasts, make real life happen.
He made news.
So it was like, all of a sudden his name appeared. I was like, what's this? And it was like, John spotted in Morrison's and Weatherspoons. And I'm like, okay. I clicked on it. And then it had like, what he ate was in this news story. And I'm like, why do people care so much? Like,
chocolate brownie with ice cream at Spoonies.
Ah, love them.
So yeah, John Travolta loves them too. But yeah, I thought I'd jump on this bandwagon, go and see if I can hunt him out. I did 3 Spoonies, couldn't find John Travolta.
I suppose after it made news the first time, he would probably try and avoid going back there again.
Just imagine he just pops up in the corner. Hey, Andrew.
How funny would it be if I could pull John Travolta off? Oh, that'd be good. Not that way. That's
Clip that. Save that for the pointies. Yeah, so John Travolta's career was, in inverted commas, revived in Pulp
I will
Fiction.
be back. I'm just going to plug the laptop in. It's going to die. Carry on.
Come back to Chris. He then made Get Shorty, Face Off, and his sort of kind of 90s into the 2000s sort of kind of action movie sort of phase. And then more recently, he was in Hairspray, and then he was the voice of Bolt, which I don't know, in the animated movies of the little dog. I had no idea he was. Well, glad I've seen them. But there's other movies, like he's been a reasonably successful actor in the last 20 years. It's okay, Chris, don't you worry. Co-starring as Sandy in Grease is OliviaNewton-John, who was an Australian singer prior to Grease. Then that was kind of her first big breakout role. And then after that, it wasn't much else other than songs and music videos. She was in a film called Xanadu. Then she was in Two of a Kind, another film with John Travolta in it. I think they tried to reuse the magic of them in this film. And then that was the 80s. There was nothing until a recent film that goes by the name Sharknado 5 Global Swamp. That she was, which has Sharknado. An astounding cast, as I was trying to find what she was in the cast list when I saw that she was in it. But and that's it. Mainly music is what she's been doing. She's an exceptional singer, clearly. So music rather than movies is where OliviaNewton-John went. And there are 2 main stars in Grease. Made on a budget of $6 million back in 1977. It opened in the US first weekend, $9 million, already in profit after one weekend. Final US gross, $190 million. Worldwide, $396 million this film made. At a certain time, and for a long period of time, it was the 3rd most profitable film ever behind Jaws and Star Wars. Or I think it's Empire Strikes Back, actually. I think it's actually more money than Star Wars did, which we did last week. It was released the 16th of June, 1978. That was in the US, a couple of months later in the UK, which meant it was readily available for the 1979 awards season, which it was represented at. It hit the 1979 Oscars with 1 nomination.
I don't think you can use the word hit at the Oscars anymore.
Oh, yes, good point. Nominated for Best Original Song. Which of the Grease songs do you think was nominated for an Oscar that year?
Grease Lightning.
What's the one at the end? The one that I want?
You're the one I want,
yeah,
I think.
That one.
Neither. It was Hopelessly Devoted to You. It is the one that Sandy sings in the back garden. Which, trivia tip.
Worst song winning.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Trivia tidbit about that song. When famous singer Olivia Newton-John signed on to be in the film, part of her contract said she had to have a solo song in the film. And there wasn't one, as in they didn't take one from, there was none in the musical that she could do, and none was prepared. So they filmed the film, and then halfway through filming Grease, Olivia Newton-John's people came to them and said, "We've got this song, you could use it." and the producers and director were like, no, we're not sure about it. They finished filming Grease, hadn't filmed a solo song, and finally the production team, whatever, came around to, oh, actually, yeah, that's not a bad idea, we'll do that. So they used Hopelessly Devoted to You and filmed this separate scene that wasn't in the film originally, and had to just shoehorn it in. So that's why she just wanders off into the back garden at the sleepover to sing a song to herself. And yeah, it was randomly made Oscar nominee. It did not win at the Oscars. It lost to Last Dance from a film called Thank God It's Friday. I don't know either the song or the movie. Yes. Grease also represented at the 1979 Golden Globes. 5 nominations at the Golden Globes. Best Original Song, Hopelessly Devoted to You, and also Grease, which is, Grease is the word, but it's just called Grease. The opening closing credits.
Fun fact for you. I had no idea that song existed in Grease.
Well, another bit of trivia, Grease, brackets, Grease is the word, if you want to call it that, the opening closing credits, is not from the musical. It was written by Barry Gibb of the Bee Gees to be the theme song for the film. As it was playing, when I first watched it, I was like, this is a really good song. I quite like the song. But it doesn't sound like the 50s. It doesn't sound like the rest. It's a very, very 70s sounding song. So it was quite clearly written in the 70s for the film. And if you actually listen to the lyrics, it's not about the film at all. It talks about Grease being the word and then just stuff. Like, it's just lyrics talking. It's just words happening. But it's a very catchy song. So they were the 2 Golden Globe nominated songs. Neither of them are from the musical. Very strange sound I can hear in the background. I don't know what that is. I heard a very strange sound. Anyway, both of them nominated for Best Song at the Golden Globes. Neither of them won. They both lost to Last Dance and Thank God It's Friday, the same song that won the Oscar that year. Other Golden Globe nominations. Best Actress in a Comedy or Musical, Olivia Newton-John. She lost to joint winners, Ellen Burstyn and Maggie Smith from films Same Time Next Year and California Suite, again, films I've never heard of. Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical, John Travolta, lost to Warren Beatty in Heaven Can Wait. And Best Motion Picture, Comedy or Musical, also lost to Heaven Can Wait. So shut out at the Golden Globes with 5 nominations. A whole bunch of other award nominations. You'll be surprised, no mention at the Saturn Awards. I'm not even sure the Saturn Awards existed in 1979 yet, but I think we did them at Star Wars last week. So yeah, it did not make it onto the Saturn Awards, but greatly successful. No other bits of trivia in terms of Grammy Awards and all that sort of stuff, like I do sometimes this week.
Thank you for Chris to sleep with facts here. I'm like a sleepy.
Crack on to the synopsis, brought to us by our very frequent contributor, Nick. Do we all remember Nick's gimmick? He likes to put in very, I don't know, over the top words to make it difficult for me to read.
See, it's Thesaurus Nick.
Thesaurus Nick. So Nick says,
that was cloning.
With the summer of 1958 nearly at its end, Danny, the sweet American boy, and Sandy, the straight-laced Aussie girl, exchange oaths of eternal devotion and part ways forever. However, unbeknownst to them, an unexpected change of plans will reunite the young dreamers at the bustling Rydell High for the new term. Only this time, something has changed. Now, as Danny, the cocky Romeo and rebellious leader of the greaser gang T-Birds, feels compelled to maintain his hard-earned reputation in front of his friends, Rydell's high-spirited all-girl band, the Pink Ladies, already have a big surprise in store for him. Is a radical transformation the only way to win Danny back? And ended with a question.
That wasn't quite his book word.
Yeah, he also didn't squeeze Grease in there like he normally gets to say the thing in there. Who picked Grease for us? It was on the wheel. Chris,
I would have 100% blamed Nicola for this.
That was
right. Well, we thought that.
Yeah, we thought that wife had indeed forced you to watch this on the podcast. Had we seen it before? I'm assuming Chris has.
Oh, I thought I did, but I don't remember any of it. Actually, I just purged it from my brain.
You do have a track record of falling asleep during things, Chris.
There's probably a good chance I did fall asleep watching this.
What about you, Andy?
I have seen this film, but not in one sitting. I'll tell you that, because I don't remember the start. I don't even remember the Grease is the Word song. Like I don't remember the little cartoon bit, but then I remember pretty much everything else, but in a completely different order.
I have never seen it all the way through for definite. I don't think I've actually ever turned it on. I think I've just seen bits. Like I've seen music video versions of the big songs, and they'll be forced into I love the 1970s sort of things and all that sort of stuff, and the best music, this, that, and the other. But yeah, definitely never seen the film. Which channel would we find this on? I have no idea where we would find
Channel
this on.
4.
Yeah,
Right
I'd say
TV.
Channel 4.
Channel 4, there you go. Now that I think about it, one trivia note was it was aired on BBC in 2020, and it got massive amounts of complaints about how it was sexist, misogynist.
Oh, we're going to get onto that bad boy.
Yeah.
Yes. So BBC showed it a couple of years ago, say that. And which version did we watch? I watched on Sky Cinema on there. I believe lots of edited versions exist, mainly removing sexual references from broadcast, because it's like essentially it would be a young person's film, so they took out a lot of that sort of stuff, and obviously through the 70s onwards, taking out all the sexual references. But most versions that exist nowadays have all the original dialogue, no lines edited out, but with the 1998 remixed soundtrack, where they kind of put more kind of background to the songs and kind of layered up a bit better, so that the music was a bit kind of bolder in the film. But apparently on the most recent kind of super duper Blu-ray release, you can get the film with the original soundtrack, which sounds like, I don't know why it would have worse music, but apparently that's what you can do. But yes, I think we basically would all have watched, no one would watch the super duper X-rated long cut. I think we would all watch the same
Don't think so.
sort of one. On to point 2 on the podcast is the high points. What we thought the best bits and things were about the film. We don't have a nominated starter, so does anyone want to jump the gun with a high point?
Because it won't be
There
that
you go.
many, I don't think. The animated start, like, it's very
Love an
funny,
animated
I
start.
to kids.
Aye.
Yeah,
I love an
that's fun.
animated start.
I
Cannot
will
beat
say,
an animated
like,
start.
I know. Like, you don't see any of them anymore. You need to bring them back.
Aye.
If you listen
definitely.
to Hollywood, bring back animated movie starts.
As long as it's from a film that is 100% not animated. Like
Yes.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Just need like a small version of their film you're about to watch, but animated. Basically, is what we're looking for.
I will say, that picture of Rizzo looked absolutely nothing like the actress who plays her. It was horrendous. Like, you've got the one of John Travolta, and it is like pretty much that picture behind me. It is a spitting image of him. And then you get Rizzo, and it looks like, I don't know, Shrek with curly hair. It was horrendous. No, it looked like handsome Squidward, but with hair. With the pout.
Oh, there you go.
I think you paid a lot more closer attention to the cartoon than I did. I was busy during watching the cartoon, writing down all the movie references. That was where a heavy point of movie references were for me. There's so many. My first high point I've got is Summer Nights, the first kind of song that we get to in the film. That isn't the opening credits.
Which I thought was like way into the film. That's why I think I've seen this in a completely different order, because I don't remember them in it straight away.
It's weird. Like, again, I don't know the story to the film really. I kind of pick up from the lyrics and the songs that I've heard kind of what's going on. But yeah, for the film to start with them being together, I'm like, I thought this was like a love story with them meeting.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
remember
what I
that
thought.
well.
In the first scene. But then Summer Nights makes more sense that way. So while I hate, and we've discussed this very recently, I hate the whole everybody dancing around, talking in song, telling a story kind of musical. I very much like the way that the story that scene tells, where he's explaining essentially what didn't happen, and she's explaining what did happen. And I like the way it's structured, that singing half a song each telling a story and all that. But yeah, there was a little bit too much kind of, would she really get up and start skipping and dancing and everyone following her around? Like, is that supposed to be happening? Or is that, I don't know, like a fake version of it? Like, in real life, she's telling them what happened. Are they singing and dancing around? Or
I want it to happen in life more often. Like, just people
burst
like
into
going,
random
right,
songs.
unison dance. They all know what I'm about to sing. They all know the dance moves I'm about to pull off. It just doesn't happen in real life enough these days.
and people only interrupt with a quip that I can sing a retort back to them again. Like,
Yeah,
they say that.
You'd be walking down the street and be like, I'm going to burst into the song. And you'd be like, don't you fucking dare. No.
Yeah, does anyone have to then get involved? Like, the background people, do they have to start singing and dancing?
They're
Or...
brilliant. I just think it needs to happen in real life more. And like, I'm with you. I usually hate this kind of stuff, but for some reason, you're right. It does work in this. And another great example of where it works is Grease Lightning. That song it just works.
Do you know what I found amusing is John Travolta's Snake Hips and his ridiculous swagger and dance, like the chicken dance he did down the bleachers.
He's brilliant.
It was the hips
Wonder
of
how many
Grease Lightning
times he
that got me.
stacked it down the bleachers.
Oh, definitely, yeah. The for Grease Lightning, I've just got. It's a great song, but the extremely camp, borderline homoerotic dancing makes it an absolute spectacle to watch. Of course, it's behind me at the moment. But,
I wasn't prepared for the innuendos. I thought it was just like a clean cut film, just with like grazing over the top of it. No, like pussy wagon. This is the shit, or it'll be the hit, or something like that. My mind was blown.
I'm gonna say Grease Lightning has the only shit in the whole film. A spoiler for the stats: the only shit in the entire film is in the song Grease Lightning, and they rhyme it with tit in the song.
Oh, it's a tit. I thought it was hit.
Apparently, in one of the edited versions that was like long circulating in broadcast, was that they changed edited both, so the lines actually it just changed both words to the word hit. So they ended up just randomly placed the word hit in and then rhymed it with the same version of the same song, the same word put in later on. So maybe you did have one of them was hit, but yeah, I think every single song, one point or another, is about sex. I think in this film.
Yep.
And it seems to be the way that's what it's about. So that's my first two high points. Before we move on from Grease Lightning, it was supposed to be sung by Kenickie, the guy whose car it was. It's like the other main guy in the T-Birds. But John Travolta just convinced everyone, nah, I should sing it. I'm the star of the film. It should be mine.
Well played.
So that's what happened. But also, in a not so funny story, or I mean, this is really taking what happened and then just painting the rest of your life after it. The actor who played Kenickie got dropped. At one point, everyone lifts him up and they're dancing. He got dropped and it hurt his back pretty badly, so he had to take painkillers. And according to the internet, that's where he developed his painkiller addiction that killed him 30 years later. Essentially, he got addicted to painkillers.
Not only did John Travolta steal his song, they broke his back and ruined his life.
Exactly. The other bit of trivia I was reading on the same subject was Travolta said he should do it, so the producers thought we'd better ask him first if he can steal his song, and he eventually agreed. And I'm like, I wonder when you say eventually. I was like, what's going to quit if he can't sing it, or what's going to happen? But yeah, that wasn't meant to be a Travolta song, but he takes it and does something with it. I'll tell you that much. Any other high points? I've got a few more.
Yeah,
everything John Travolta.
Oh, that kind of leads on to mine is the sports montage with him.
Yeah. My headline is Danny attempts sports that he has never heard of before, like basketball and baseball.
It was the wrestling one where he's like kind of paces up and down and then goes do that and just starts wrestling them and gets absolutely destroyed.
He definitely plays basketball like me as well, just punch them.
Yeah, it's like immediately gets the ball and starts chasing it everyone as soon as he gets the ball.
Fun fact, I didn't know this. I googled this. The guy he punched was Michael Bain.
Yeah, I've got that later on, Chris. So well spotted.
Well, I didn't notice it there. I noticed him somewhere else, but
you see him later on, did you? Right, okay.
I did not notice. He's the guy. He's the preppy guy sitting next to the girl who gets the frog put in her bag.
I did not even see him.
That's where I noticed it.
I only see him in a basketball.
I found that he was in the basketball scene, and then that was it. I didn't search for him any longer. Apparently, he plays someone called Mike, allegedly, but he is also called Mike, so I don't know if it's just like background guy will call you by your name. My next high point is just Vince Fontaine. What a guy! So that's the star. The star of this. He seems to be okay. His intentions are bad, but what a star! What charisma that man has, and I'm positive he did a flip as well. Like he comes flying. They do a big musical number, and he comes flying in at the front. I think he did a flip. I don't think it was any sort of camera trickery or anything, or it was somebody else. But I'm positive the guy who was Vince Fontaine did a flick. But yeah, just what a star! I enjoyed his energy that he brought, not necessarily his creeping on high school children.
That kind of leads on to my one. Like the whole dance party, I thought was pretty good. It kind of made me knackered just watching it, and made me jealous of how unrhythmic I actually am.
Like the hand jive song is one of these criminally underrated songs, which I always like. I used to always play it like when I was DJing. Had no idea where it was from, and everybody could do all the blah 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 things. And I was like, how does everybody know this? And it's like, it's from Greece. And when you watch it, it's fucking an epic banger. I
didn't think the song was good enough for the scene. I thought it was epically long. It must go on for about 10 minutes of somebody dancing all the time. I thought the song isn't good enough. Also, it's called the hand jive, but it's like everybody's all dancing. Like hand jiving is just dancing with your hands. But yeah, I wish the song was a bit better because the whole production is amazing. And then once Travolta gets in full flow, you can't take your eyes off him. I would feel bad for any co-star that wants to try and star with him because he is the star of any scene that he's dancing in. Another one of these actor requests was OliviaNewton-John wasn't supposed to be in that scene. She's supposed to be taken away so that Danny and Cha-Cha can dance the whole dance and win. But OliviaNewton-John was like, I want to do some dancing in this film because all I'm done is singing. So they let her dance a wee bit at the beginning and then get shepherded out of the scene so the rest can continue. So the stars of this film seem to have a lot of power over the production here. They seem to get what they wanted most of the time. I've got, I think, 3 more.
I've got one more.
Okay. I'll go with one of mine then. I've got Thunder Road, I guess, is one of the high points because it's a car chase. It's like it's a race.
That was my next high point. What a car chase.
Lead on, Andy, then.
No. It's one of these like epically shit things, but like it's just funny when like Thingy gets knocked out of the door. Just hilarious. And then all right, now John Travolta's got to race. And also like the what you call them on the side of the car thing, that rips through the car way too easily. And I would be pissed if I was like it's like what is that auto shop teacher teaching them? She's like utterly just just use paper, it's safer.
Oh yeah, like I forgot about that. Like the fact that it's a woman that's teaching the car mechanic classes, it's like well ahead of its time.
Yeah, forward thinking.
Yeah.
But then they'd probably be like, it's a made up daft musical story. You can do anything we like.
Take this shit seriously.
It's meant to be a fantasy. Yeah.
I've got one before that. Is when they're at the drive-in and Danny elbows Sandy in the tit. I don't know, I found that really funny.
It's because we've all done it.
It was because I don't know whether it was intentional because I don't know whether it was just him doing, like acting and laughing because it just looked like unintentional. I thought it was quite funny.
It's not a low point, but I feel like the whole drive-in, that's kind of where I stopped. First time I stopped paying attention was the drive-in scene. Like I was kind of bored what was going on at this point. It's something I'll get to in the low points, but the drive-in scene hasn't jumped out at me as a low point. But I did miss the elbow question, so that might have changed my tune. Okay, we're very low on high points from everybody else. So I've got, the one that I want has to be a high point. OliviaNewton-John, of course, in that scene has to be a high point. But Travolta is, I don't know if he's on something, but he is, the way he's looking at OliviaNewton-John in that scene, it's like, I believe everything you're singing about, Danny, here. Like, he is fawning on the floor, and I really, really enjoyed them dancing on the fairground.
Going up and down his
brilliant.
I really liked it. It's just something. It was just so satisfying watching them dance like that in the fairground.
How have we never had a carnival for our last days of school? That is ridiculous.
I know. I feel like we missed out as kids.
American schools are so much better than ours. Like, everything about them is better. There's
that's the point I was going to bring up. It's like this film seems like it rattles past in like 2 days, but it's actually a whole semester. But they have a lot of stuff in between, like carnivals, and they got the other stuff. It's just like, holy shit, we never got any of that stuff. We got a Wear What You Want day.
Yeah, what a year maybe. Yeah, The timeline is definitely a low point, which I will come to in the next 10 minutes. I'm sure.
I do have one more high point though.
Okay.
And it's a high point that needs to be in films more often. When girls have slumber parties, they're in pajamas and have pillow fights. It's a thing. Need to keep that mantra going in films more often.
Allegedly, they filmed. Again, it was never broadcast anywhere, but a teaser that the BBC one showed for the film had them more scantily clad in the slumber party, but it's never in any version of the film that anyone ever saw. So this random teaser for the film Grease showing this slumber party scene that nobody ever got to see beyond this advert that they showed back in the 70s or whenever it would be back in the 80s. But
yeah, just to be sexist, anytime like more than 2 girls, like so 3 girls like are a slumber party, that's what they do. Doesn't matter, like like
Andrew's head.
Yep. Like Chantel's away with her bridesmaids, and that's exactly what's happening right now. In the hotel room. Slumber party, pajamas, pillow fights. That's just what every kid dreamed of, and that's what happened. And still happens when you're an adult. You still believe that.
It's all because of Grease, maybe.
Pretty much any old film.
I'm not sure what was before this that would depict that. Well, there'll probably be something, no doubt. I've got one more high point. Chris, have you got any others?
It's not really a high point, and I only noticed it at the end, but there was an actress called Fanny Flagg.
My last high point is... I'm not sure.
Really funny name.
And then we go together, the last song, basically, because I just love a song that's just nonsense, hence why I put it as... So... The lyrics to that are just them making noises. It's like it's fun to hear them just making up words. On to the low points. Fanny Flag. Low points are what was like the worst bits. and things. On you go.
Carries on. Women's slumber parties. Like, what's the point? Like, literally that entire scene. It's just like, right, you've invited your new friend around, and you're just going to slag her off. Like, yeah. It's like,
Well, one of
a
them
bitch.
but they never liked her. Rizzo never liked her.
But still, it's like, you would just go, right, if she's coming, I'm not going. But it's just like, you're coming round, I'm going to make you smoke, I'm going to make you have a little bit of alcohol, you're going to go spew your ringer, and I'm going to slag you off in song.
It didn't take a lot to spew though after one drink.
It could be the fag though.
It was a cigarette. I think she was first off killed her because of that. I think, yeah.
Right.
I've got the sleepover. It's not my first one, but I've got the sleepover. People having fun. Like, I hate watching people running around.
Right, yeah.
Like,
stuff
if I just pick a specific point, that woman that does the brushy teethy thing, like that.
Oh,
wait,
she annoyed the
my
tits
God.
off me.
I
Like,
think she was there to be annoying. I think, yeah.
Yeah.
she eats like she's in prison. She just hunkers over and just like shovels it in her mouth.
The other point I put for the sleepover was, as I wrote it down, as I'm watching the film, I wrote down 2 average songs don't help that period of the film either, which is the Sandra D song,
Right.
which I was like, I didn't understand. I don't know if you guys got that's a reference to somebody else. Like, Sandra D is a famous person, so her name being Sandy confused me totally. I thought
that was her name, Sandy D.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I'll come to that in a bit. So Sandra D is something else, but also I was like, oh, when she goes at the back garden, it's not a great song. It kind of slows down and all that. It turns out it's an Oscar-nominated song she was singing in the back garden. So yeah, it didn't. Yeah, the whole sleepover was not. It was definitely a low point of the film.
Mine through the whole film is could they not have gotten younger actors to portray teens? Like, half of them look older than I do now.
It's kind of it's neither a high or low point for me, but it is. It makes. I think it almost hits a high point for me because it is funny as fuck.
Who's the worst one? It's
I've got the worst here, Chris.
the guy with the curly hair.
Do not worry yourself. So I did this for stats, so I'll present it here because it's not
Right.
So I've got the average age of the T-Birds and the average age of the Pink Ladies. Now Travolta's a T-Bird, and I've put OliviaNewton-John in as one of the Pink Ladies. So how old? What's the average age? It's 5 of each. The average age of a T-Bird and a Pink Lady in this film. What do you guys reckon?
I'm gonna say for a T-Bird, I'm gonna say 28.
I was gonna go for 30.
Right. Okay. T-Birds. Average age 25 and a half is the average age of T-Bird. However, Travolta's 23, so he's below average. And
Look
one
at that
of
young
them,
face though. He could pull off his. It was just the other guy.
and Kelly Ward, who plays Putsy, who is the blonde one of the T-Birds, he's 20. And he is, of everybody mentioned, the closest to being a teenager. So yeah, our man Kenickie, is that you call him? Jeff Conaway, he was 26. But Sonny and Doody, the other two.
Oh, it's Sonny. He looks like he was like 40.
Right, so Sonny, let me get my number, 31. He was the eldest of all the T-Birds. So yeah, 31, 27, 26, 23, and 20, all playing, I'm assuming, at oldest, 18. But then they did say that Kenickie had been there longer than some of the teachers, so he might be 19 or something like that. Pink Ladies, average age of the Pink Ladies, what do we think?
26.
I'm going to say 27 because I know one of them is quite old.
27 and a half for the Pink Ladies. So they are, on average, is 2 above what the T-Birds were.
I think Nicola Googled Rizzo and she was like 33 or 34 or something.
Yes, exactly. Stockard Channing played Rizzo here, a high school girl, at the age of 33. And she looks it. Like, I was just like,
Yep.
Is it because she looks like what, like our grandparents' age, whatever it is? Like, when you see our grandparents in old photographs, they still look old, if you know what I'm saying? Is it just because of that? No, she was full on twice the age that she was playing. Apparently, if you did the maths, she would have been 4 years younger in real life than the age she's meant to be playing in the film. As in, if they told this in the 50s, she'd have been like 4 years younger than she was playing. So the rest of them, we have OliviaNewton-John is in this film. She looks like a teenager. She looks like she fits. 28. She was 28 at the filming here. Another rest of the Pink Ladies, 25 and 21. And then who was the last one? So the annoying one, Jan, the one who did all of her heads in with the brushing teeth, 30 she was at the age. So 2 of the Pink Ladies were 30 or above in the filming, being high school children in this film. As me looking at them, this is before I did all the number work. I was watching the film, and at this point, it's like, I don't get Grease. Am I missing what the joke? Is it a joke that they're old? Like, is that? So I texted my dad, who's a lot older than I am, and he would have been around when this was a thing. Obviously, he was born in the 50s. I don't think he'll care that I'm saying how old he is. And he's like, I hate that film. Or he absolutely slagged the film. I don't get it either. I'm not sure what the point was. It slagged it, but he didn't know either. It's like, I have no idea. Are we supposed to be in on the joke that they're old people being kids in this? I have no
Maybe
idea.
they just kid actors were shit back then.
Yeah.
Untrustworthy, maybe. Yeah. Low points. Let's see where we got to. I talked a bit long there. So my first low point, and this was like before I'd written anything else down that was a low point. Everybody except Sandy, and to a lesser extent Danny, is infuriatingly annoying in this film. It's just like the rest of the cast seem to exist just to be annoying to our main characters, and that's the role in the film, and that did my head in as it progressed.
It was Sonny really bugged my happiness. Like, do you know? I'll liken it to use what you know the guy from AEW who is now just joined with Jericho. He always talks with his fingers like that. I can't remember what he's called. He always shouts.
I think it was one of 2.0.
Him with the ponytail. So, yeah. He reminds me of him because he just doesn't talk. He just shouts constantly, and he pissed me off through the entire film.
Jesus hell. See, my first niggle was I turned to Chantel and went, OliviaNewton-John, she's got the worst Australian accent ever, and Chantel just went, she is Australian. So yeah, that threw me right off. I was like, that is a shit Australian accent.
Yeah,
Kylie Minogue.
They found her and they were like, oh my god, you have to be Sandy. So they changed the entire backstory. Apparently it's like I don't know, someone from like Nebraska or someone like that. It's like an old country girl comes to the city in the actual.
I'll tell you what I've learned doing this podcast though. I had no idea this was a musical first.
Yeah,
yeah. In my mind, I thought this was a film first.
I thought it was a film and then they made a stage show about it. Exactly.
Yep.
Oh right, yeah, okay.
My next low point. When Sandy meets Danny at the pep rally thing with
that's kind of mine as well. Like, how the hell did she become a cheerleader? She can't even do a cartwheel.
On my second viewing, I found this. So obviously it's her first date. So I don't know how she's friends with Frenchie. That's the one question. They come to school together. They're pals all of a sudden. They sit down at the table, and then the annoying girl that they all hate comes and sits with them. At that point, she's like, "Oh, I hope you come to cheerleader. I hope you come to that." So they plant a seed there. So she's been invited to come to cheerleader practice, tryouts, whatever that. So she must have got in. But then it also comes to our timeline things as well. But yeah, when she turns on him instantly. Like he says about two kind of innocuous sentences, and she's like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you changed?" And he's like, "Oh well, you know." And then he starts being a bit of a dick after she says that he's changed and all that. But like immediately, she just hates him for no like. I don't think personally. I'm a man talking on a man's behalf here. I don't think it's anything wrong. I think she just all of a sudden was like, "What is wrong with you? Why are you different now?" So
I don't know if it's maybe different. I mean, viewed it from a man's perspective, but like, surely you just wait until get him alone and be like, "What's wrong?" and not just storm off and be like, "Right, I'm sorry. I've got a reputation. Like, I'm not a dick. I've got to act like a dick. Just don't take it personally."
Yeah, look,
I've lived my life all this time.
Any other low points? I've still got a bunch, by the way.
Yeah. I didn't realize how rapey and creepy the film was.
That's where I was going next. Because I do not remember that hilltop scene either. That's a bit.
Well, that comes up. Yeah, like, do you have a protection? Oh, I do, but it's burst. Yeah, fuck it. Let's just do it anyway. And then you've got Danny at the start, like, and then later on at the drive and try to force himself on Sandy. And then you've got the Nitzer. What's he called? Fontaine.
Yeah.
I did get Mandela affected because I actually thought she has a baby.
Right. Okay.
100%. I thought, oh yeah, she is pregnant. Oh yeah, I remember her being fat at the end of this film. Apparently not. That was Grease 2.
A classic waste of time storyline in the film. Oh yeah, she's pregnant. Then 20 minutes later, oh yeah, I'm not actually. Oh, brilliant. Thanks for wasting. Thanks for getting yourself a little solo to sing and then carry on. I had a low point here. I don't know if you guys spotted this because I've got in bold capital letters. Why was half of the ice cream parlor blurred out? So I didn't even notice this was a thing.
I didn't even notice this.
So Sandy's on her date with like the quarterback dude. She gets up and walks to go to the jukebox, I think it was, where he goes to speak to her. As she gets up, the entire background is like blurred behind her head as she goes. And what the hell was that? And I
Did not notice this.
watched it again. I was like, it's a Coca-Cola advert. They've blurred out a Coke advert.
Huh.
So I was like, that's really weird. So in my trivia research, I found out, yes, it's a Coke advert. Yes, it was blurred out because they shot the film and then they struck an advertising deal with Pepsi after they finished filming. Pepsi were like, hold on. Like, no. So they blurred out all the adverts for Coke, but there's a giant Coke machine in the corner, like it's a vending machine. And the producers were like, let's hope Pepsi don't notice and they don't complain, and they never did, apparently, was the story. But yeah, they shot the film and then got a sponsorship with Pepsi afterwards. So yeah, it wasn't a low point as such, but I noticed it. But on the ice cream parlor place, they go back to have a date, and everyone kind of has a date next to them, sitting next to them, and then they all kind of go away. That was just another waste of time. Like that scene was just there for everyone to be annoying again. Rizzo to throw an ice cream and be annoying. Frenchie to have pink hair. That's where the Frenchie storyline completely lost me. I had no idea what she was even going on about.
She always had pink hair. Maybe that's been Mandela affected as well.
And then she starts thinking, and then a guy appears and starts singing to her, and I'm like, what is this film about now? Frenchie's barely in it. Why is this all happening? She's not even part of the storyline. They lost me.
What annoyed me is the fact that they ordered all this food like you did at the start. Like this thing doesn't even touch it. And just leaves it.
And then Kenickie goes, oh, we should leave now or something. He falls out of Rizzo. Rizzo puts a cigarette down out in his burger. He goes, oh, look at me stuck with the bill again. And then just goes, give me money. like that. And no wonder Rizzo threw an ice cream milkshake thing in his face at that point. Yeah, it's just bizarre.
Oh.
He's back.
I can see why the Grease Megamix is so popular. Half the songs are just nothing songs in the film. Like the big ones are the big ones, and the rest are all. Yeah. Right, Thunder Road, the opposition guy. The rules are there are no rules, and then he needs to explain the rules. Because we've done there, we do this, and first one back. So there are rules then. Right.
What did make sense for that for him though is Danny goes up the side of the thingamay. If he just kept going straight, he would have won instead of following him trying to destroy his car.
Trying to get slipstream.
Bizarre 10-mile-an-hour race as well.
They're big cars.
Can you imagine if they did had Michael Bay doing the little fast, zoom, 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 and his car's going tootling along.
Right, so major nitpicks. I'll try not to dwell too long. A whole school year passed during this film. This 2-hour film. And I could not follow. Like, I feel like there was about 3 scenes in a row where Sandy fell out with Danny, and then the next scene they were back together again. It's because we're losing months in between. That's why.
Yep.
It does not feel like. But obviously, it's California, so it never feels like winter at any point. But the timeline of this film completely lost me. Frenchie's in school, leaves school to go to a beauty school, and then like the next scene, she's quitting beauty school to go back to school again. It's like, were you there a day? What's happened? It's so bizarre. And it does not feel like time is passing. There's never any sort of, now it's turning to this time of year, or nothing makes it feel like it's months and months and months to go. A major problem, it paints women in a very bad light, this film.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, really bad.
On that point.
It's not aged at all well. Every woman needs a man, otherwise she's useless. Every woman wants a man and will do anything to get a man. And all
You know the bit that actually got me, like I'll actually first notice, normally I'd gloss over the woke culture, but it's when they're just about to do the big dance off and it was like everybody has to be boy girl. Now like, oh, you can't say that anymore.
That would happen nowadays. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's
in the diner the first time when Sandy goes to be, I'm going to put a song on, and she goes to him, I need some money. He gives her like a quarter at the top pocket.
Yeah, it's weird. It's strange seeing this.
Yeah.
But of course, again, this is made in the 70s about the 50s, so it might just be the 70s kind of like sending a send up of the 50s or like a parody. And my last one, it's not a complaint. I just want to discuss the T-Birds. Right. Is this like a long-standing thing? Like, do you become a T-Bird and then once you progress on? Or have this is like 4 guys that are like, oh, well, know what we should do? We should wear leather jackets and say we're the T-Birds.
I think that's exactly what's happened.
And it's like
it's the kind of thing that we would have done at school.
Like, they're not a gang. They're not out on street corners causing like granny's trouble. They go to school and then they're not at school anymore. They go and get ice cream and all this stuff. But we're the T-Birds. But yeah, they never claimed to do anything. It's just
T-Birds for life, just riding about in motorbikes.
It's just, so I thought, is this like the 1950s version of starting your own podcast? Maybe that's what it is.
Maybe.
This is like when we used to go to Shanghai and bowling every day, every week.
Yeah. So yeah, it's one of these. We have
Leather
our
jackets.
We have our independence now, so we should all band together and be a gang, but not actually do anything. That was my last low point.
My last was the ending. Like, what the fuck's with the flying car?
Flying car. That's what that was my last point.
If they had just driven off into the sunset, fine. No, they drive into the fucking sunset.
Well, I've got another problem with that is, quite clearly, it's dangerous to have your car on the fairground. That was really close. Sure, the parking should have been at least a safe distance away. He seemed to have just drove it right through the fucking fairground and then flew into the sky. That is not safe.
I'm assuming it's just been lifted from the stage show, and that's how the stage show ends. But I don't know. But it seemed, again, it's another random fantastical thing for no reason in the film. Is that us for low points?
Aye.
On with the stats. I've already said there was one shit. There were no F-bombs, no explosions, and no death. I thought we might get a sneaky death in there somewhere. I
think I'd be mad enough. I thought somebody died at the Thunder Dome thing, whatever it was. Thunderdome. I mean, what it's called.
Thunderdome.
That's such a Thunderdome.
I thought somebody died there for some reason.
So yeah, very low. We had one of our major categories only had one represented, and it's in a song as well. No one even says it. Quotas: no dead animals, no cows, no goats. I don't think any peeing anywhere. I don't notice any of that. Paedophiles.
Hands down, our guy's a pedo.
Vince Fontaine, and maybe some school children who aren't actually school children pretending to go to the school by the look of them. They look way older than they are. I don't think the devil was there. KKK or Nazis, none present. However, Andy's got a good crowd shot behind him. Was there a minority in this film?
I would say so.
I thought Cha-Cha might have been Latina, but her surname is Di Giorgino, so she might actually be Italian. So I think everybody is a white person in this film. I think there's a couple of there's actually a black couple, I'm pretty sure, in the hand jive stuff. Right,
I'm sure there is.
Well, there we go.
Unless Mandela affected myself in there.
That does seem familiar.
A very, 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 very white film. Okay, because the film is called Grease, I thought I'd keep an eye out for Grease. There is a kind of, I don't know, what do you call it, like a toothpaste of grease in the cartoon. But not at any point is there any grease in the film. And
a burger.
There's a burger again. It's quite greasy, and their hair is quite greasy, but not especially greasy. I was expecting them to be all the time greasing their hair, but nothing like that. I done the average ages, 25 and a half, 27 and a half. It was quite funny. Did they say the thing? Did they say Grease in the film Grease?
No. Well, technically the song by Grease Lightning.
It is never said in the film, not once at any point. It is only in songs. Technically, it's only in the song Grease that is at the beginning and at the end of the film that wasn't in the musical. But if you include those and include Greased Lightning, which isn't the word grease, it's greased, 49 times it is sung in the 3 songs. But it's never once ever said at any point. Chris, any stats from you?
Yeah. It took the girl that was with Rizzo when she found she was pregnant, it took her 17 seconds from Rizzo saying "don't tell anyone" to her then mention it to somebody else, and then 45 seconds in total to get back to Rizzo.
Get back to it again, yeah.
I kind of also, because you were talking about Grease, I counted how many times they comb their hair, and it's 25 times.
Oh,
so I didn't count each individual stroke. It's just literally as soon as they started combing their hair, I was like, okay, that's one.
That's more than I noticed, but I was looking out for Grease rather than actually. I thought there'd be more in the front of the film.
Yeah.
Than doing that.
We have 1.5 nut shots. Right at the very start, as he walks past, I think it's Sonny, he goes like that, boop, right in the balls. And then when he's trying it on with Sandy at the drive-in, she slams the door on him and it hits his boner. So I'm classing that as a half nut shot.
It's a half one, right?
So.
And Andy, most pornographic scene after that?
The food is diner. Burger looked pretty good. I like a thick burger.
I'm going to go typical man here. I'm going to say OliviaNewton-John's ass in those Leather trousers.
There you go. Yeah, the ones that I think the zipper broke, so she had to be sewn in and out. Yeah, something like that. I think is the. I don't know if it's an urban legend or actual. I did find it in my trivia. On the pornographic scene, Andy, for you won't have known this, but this jumped out at me as an Andy thing. The high school that they were filming at for Rydell High was next to a pork plant, so allegedly everything smelled like bacon.
Oh. What? That's like they should pump that shit into restaurants, shouldn't they? Imagine walking into McDonald's, it just smells like bacon. Oh.
There we go. That jumped out at me. Right, Andy, point 5, 10-point podcast quiz.
Right, strap in because I've called this one the Grease Mega Mix.
Hey.
Wait till I get my thing up. So basically, it's like a game of tennis. I will read a line from the Grease Mega Mix, and then Bruce, you will try and attempt the next line. If
Okay.
you get it right, it will then be hit over to Chris, who will then try and hit it back to you, and we go back and forth until somebody gets it wrong.
I think I follow. It might be easier to
So-
understand.
Should have listened. To
So,
this.
yeah,
So you
So
feed
we'll
me a
start off
line,
with-
and I get the next one.
I'll feed you a line, and then you play back and forth until I say stop, or somebody gets it wrong, and then the point goes to that person. Just like tennis.
Yes.
So if I say, this car is automatic, Bruce would then say,
I don't know the next line is what I would say.
Oh, I know this
no,
one.
no, I think I do. Is it systematic?
right, over to Chris,
Oh, hydromatic.
back over to Bruce.
I'm scuppered, I think. Systematic. No, I don't know. No.
It was why it's Grease Lightning.
Right, okay. I
That's the
wasn't
next
sure.
line. So point to Chris.
Hey!
Right, so start with Chris. I'll start the first line and then back and forth. I've got chills, they're multiplying. Chris,
And I'm losing control.
Bruce,
Because the power. Do I keep going?
go on, that's still a line.
Because the
carry on.
power you're supplying.
Chris,
I'm not doing it. It's electrifying.
okay, it's a tie on that one.
Right.
Right, let's go. Let's get to a bit harder one.
Just me first now again.
It's you first.
Right.
Summer loving had me a blast.
Oh, I thought that was the second one. Summer Lovin' happened so fast.
Chris,
Nah. Drifting away? I don't, no.
nope.
Go on.
It was I met a girl crazy for me.
Ah.
Right. Let's try and get another. Try and find an easier one because you're not as good as I thought you were going to be.
It's tough when you don't hear it. I can sing along.
Right,
I can't
we'll
sing.
go back to Grease. We'll go back to Grease Lightning.
Right.
Right. So I'm going to stop in the middle for Chris, and then you've got to carry on. So I'm going to be in the middle of the line.
God.
Go Grease Lightning, you're coasting through.
Go Grease Lightning. You smell poo.
Nope. Could you get it, Bruce, and I'll give you a point?
Oh,
Go Grease Lightning, you're coasting.
no idea.
It's a really hard line. It's actually go Grease Lightning, you're coasting through the hit lap trial.
Ah, right. So that's what they say hit. Right.
Yes. Right. So
it's
Bruce,
fucking
you
big,
start.
Yeah.
With a 4-speed on the floor.
I don't know. The fourth, I couldn't even. I don't even know what the next word is. I couldn't even one word in the next line.
Chris, can you get it for steal a point?
And a lightning bolt on the door.
Oh, so close. You're waiting at the door. But it's Chris's point anyway.
What?
Right.
Was it? I get it. Yeah.
Oh, because you got it wrong straight away. Right. Well, one more each.
That happened to me. That happened to
Oh,
me
well,
last
okay, I'm just getting them all wrong straight away for extra points. Let's go.
Right, this is winning a part.
Right, anyway, right. Chris, starting with you. You better shape up,
Because I need a man.
Bruce.
Damn it. And my eyes are set on you.
Oh no!
Oh, it's so close. It's my heart is set on you.
Ah!
I'd give him that because that's close enough.
Right. Let's do one more because I can't remember who scored, so we might need a tiebreaker.
We'll do it. If I get it right, if I win, I win. If I don't, Chris wins. We'll do it that way.
Right.
Let's do that.
Right. Tell me more. Tell me more.
Oh, like that happens a whole bunch in this song, doesn't it?
Correct.
Oh,
Like a line.
okay.
No,
Oh,
I say have no bunch.
I'm like,
I was just going. No, I was just saying it's correct. There is.
That's true. So tell me more. Like, does he have a car? That's one of the lines, isn't it?
Yeah. Next one, Chris.
does it go far? Oh, tell me more. Tell me more. Does it go far?
Oh, so close. Did you get very far?
Ah!
So I'm going to give it to Bruce. Hank,
Hey,
the winner, or
I
not,
think I
Liz.
went.
Thank
one
God.
of the rules
Yeah,
to
I
make.
can accept that.
That should be a simple quiz, but actually the hardest thing I think we've ever had to do. God, really famous song lyrics that we just can't.
It
remember.
worked. It worked out perfectly well because I was hoping one of you were going to sing it, and you kind of have to. You were trying to work out what it was.
Get there, yeah. Anyway, cracking on after that embarrassment. Oh, jeez, right. Movies, point 6 on the podcast. Hunters for me. Hunters. The title itself. So I wonder about this. So Grease, it's a riff or a joke at there's a famous Broadway musical about the 60s called Hair. So they made a musical about the 50s called Grease, as in what you put in your hair. And then Hairspray obviously came years later, which is like a riff of both of them having to do with that. So that's where the title comes from. Other references. Immediately I thought it was Planet of the Apes when it started. Like the first shot of the beat, I was like, Planet of the Apes. So the cartoon opening credits referenced the 10 Commandments, a film called Tammy, Bambi, and She Gods of Shark Reef. Now I don't know what reference, but apparently that was in it. I found that on the internet, but I like the sound of She Gods of Shark Reef. So they were all in the cartoon. Other things that I mentioned, I don't have as much detail going on here. Where are we? Love is a Many Splendored Thing, Rebel Without a Cause, The Bad Seed, The Three Stooges, The Blob, Thunder Road, the film itself, Ben-Hur, and Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is what the ending bit is where the car flies off. I was like, I've seen this before because it happens in the Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. And then A Summer Place is a famous film, that's a famous theme song. But Sandra Dee is an actress who's in that film, and they sing a bit in the song Sandra Dee about her character in that film. So that's where the reference to that comes. So Sandra Dee, famous actress, she was famously in A Summer Place, apparently. Loads of references, that's them all. Everything kind of 60s and beforehand, lots of 50s stuff.
It's like one of the most parodied films ever.
And then since then, we've done Star Wars and Grease back to back, and they are referencing absolutely everything since they came out. So yeah, very famous. Never Not Good has to be John Travolta dancing. It's never not good.
Yep.
And he is exceptional at it. Chris, the TPP universe.
Yeah, well, John Travolta basically played a grown-up Danny Zuko in Look Who's Talking.
He is pretty much the same guy, yeah. He was Jimmy as well. I remember that. He played the character Jimmy because he was nominated as Jimmy, yeah.
It must have been, he's changed the name after being in prison for shanking one of the the scorpions, I think that's what they're called. Like I said before, Michael Bain was in the classroom. That's when I noticed him, and then I googled it. He was the basketball player who got punched. He was in Aliens. I feel like he was in something else, but I don't think he was.
I think we just talked about him a couple of times. Yeah. I don't think he's been in anything else.
I'm assuming there's somebody else, but I went through a lot of people. Oh, was it not?
He did it.
There's not much of a cast to this. Everybody is dancer, and I thought I don't really fancy.
I could have gone through all the dancers. I went through all the people who actually had names.
But that was me. Recast. Have you recast this, Chris?
Oh yeah, I did. Because of his obsession with a big dance number right now, I put Andy as Danny. Because he is obsessed with a dance number right now. And I put you as
planning mode.
Absolutely hell no, I'm not doing a dance like you made.
Peacemaker dance.
I put Bruce as Kenickie, and I showed you the video before of the teachers walking out with a guy behind him going. Blah, 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 blah. That's who I am.
You're the tongue guy.
Yeah, just this random guy just walking around just going. Blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure he's in the video behind you as well, in the picture pointing in the far left.
Up here?
Other side. Oh no, he's behind your head. Yeah, that's him.
Right, okay. I can't see him.
I don't know why. He just randomly walks behind the teacher, sticking his tongue out, and I thought, yeah, that's me.
I found it tough because I felt like none of us are really Danny. I thought, nah, it's tough. None of us are like that. So I thought, if Chris stays quiet for 10 seconds here, I've cast us as the 3 T-Birds that aren't Kenickie or Danny, and I wondered if Andy could name those characters for me in a film he's watched. So, not even one stab at one of the other 3 T-Birds, no.
Nope.
Right, Chris, do you remember what the 3 guys were called that were in the T-Birds?
I know Sonny because he
Sonny,
pissed me off that much.
I made me Sonny. I'm not. One reason was why, but I'll get to the end when we find it.
There's one called like Pinchy or something like that.
Putsy, that's what I made you.
Putsy,
That's the blonde guy. And then the last one, that's the one I made. I cast Andy as. He was Duty. Duty. So I just went for them because I thought it was too hard. I was going to go. Could we be teachers? Would one of us be the basketball coach? One of us be the kind of car shop guy? A girl? It was too difficult. Andy, have you done any recasting?
Right. So I've not really recast. I would keep the cast as is.
Mm-hmm.
However, change the setting. So I would take them out of high school and put them in an old folks' home, because then the film would make more sense.
I guess so. Yeah, it might do.
Just them wheeling down, singing "Summer Lovin'."
I honestly, God, I think it would be amazing. Just like them reminiscing about the good old times, but they're all really old, so it'd be fine.
We are in the era of prequels, so we might get a Grease recall. Point 7 on the podcast. Chrissy's Would You Rather?
I struggled big time to come up with one for this. So basically, all I said was, would you rather be a greaser or a jock? Because they both seem to be like, yeah. I went for a jock. I'd rather be like an American footballer.
I think I was closer to being a jock when I was at school.
I just don't like physical exercise, so I'd rather be a greaser.
There we go.
Yeah,
you done?
I couldn't think of anything other than to do with me singing, and I didn't want to sing at all. So.
Nominations for the 10 Point Podcast Awards at the end of the season. I've got a few, but not hunters. I've got Best Team, the T-Birds, so I thought they have to be represented. I have slagged them. They do form a reasonable good team. The Best Costume or Fashion Item. I bet Chris has got the same thing as me. OliviaNewton-John when she's cool and is definitely the best costume. Best Hair. There is competition, but I think it's Travolta. I think his hair has to win.
I went for what's her face's French's because it was different than the scene practically.
That was the thing. When they had the sleepover, there were wigs everywhere. So I thought, is she just wearing a wig? Is that why her hair is different? But like, no, she actually did bleach her hair pink at one point.
I'll concede to John Travolta.
Yeah, I think he deserves it. Does Travolta? I've got Best Acting. I've got him mainly towards the end where the fairground stuff. It was really good. And his dancing has to be represented. We don't have Best Dancing, so I'll put Travolta.
Those snake hips make me jealous. I wish I could move like that.
I wish I could move. It'd be amazing. Best stunts. There's not many, but the jumping the cars at Thunder Road. I thought, well, there's a stunt. It is.
I thought you were going to say him jumping the hurdles.
Oh yeah, I could do that maybe. Yeah.
I forgot about this. How did that destroy the other guy's car? Because the T-Bird went over the jump and absolutely annihilated it and won. And the guy just kind of tooled through a little river.
Yeah. The little one that confused me was when they're at a lookout point, we want to call it, where the Scorpion guy reverses.
Ramming the car.
Yeah, and it just keeps going. It's like, you're damaging your own car, you idiot. What are you doing?
I think that's worst plan. Damn it, reversing your own car into the back of somebody.
Best twist. I forgot to mention this earlier. The actual ending of the film is a good twist, where it's meant to be a parody of what happens in all other films up to the 70s, where instead of the bad guy conforming and being a good guy and winning the girl in the end, the girl just turns bad and goes with the T-Birds. I thought it's a good twist that Sandy turns bad, as it were. Although I feel like they were still, I bet they were laughed at by everybody else, really. It's like,
oh yeah, the T-Birds were
there's the T-Birds. Who do you think they are? So yeah, best twist, Sandy turning bad, or cool, what you want to call it. Worst acting, most of the rest of the cast, I think, has to be. No one jumped out specifically. So the
woman with the teeth.
Right.
Oh, aye.
I believe that's Jamie Donnelly as Jan, I think. Is that one. Yes, horrific. Where are we? Worst villain, the guy from the Scorpions gang, he was pretty rubbish. Most annoying kid is Jan as well. I've thought about that.
I went for fucking Sonny.
despite the fact that she's 30 and Sonny's 27 or whatever he was, they're the most annoying kids. Stupidest character, Frenchie. I think she was stupidest. Plenty of competition again.
That's a bit harsh.
Before we get on to the major awards, I've got best song and worst song highlighted here, but it's quite difficult to
My best
nail
song
down.
was La Bamba.
Yeah, if this hadn't been a musical and it'd been a soundtracky kind of thing, definitely I would have had La Bamba. But I don't know, the Grease theme song is up there for me.
Grease Lightning. I love that song.
Grease Lightning's a good one. I've got Summer Nights, Summer, whatever it's called.
All the original stuff's good.
Original stuff.
I'll concede to one of them.
We'll go
Grease
Grease
is
Lightning.
alright. Yeah.
Go Grease Lightning, I think.
I'll
And
say
worst
just
song,
Grease Megamix, sorted.
the Grease Megamix. And then the worst song, I don't really know. I think the one that was Oscar nominated I didn't like.
Yeah.
Really, for that.
I hated that. It really killed the film for me.
Yeah, really slowed down. And then our major awards, I've only got one nominee, Michael Pena award. I've gone for Summer Nights because I quite enjoyed the way they're telling.
I just thought about that now, actually, as we were talking about it.
I think that's Michael Pena for me. Any other nominations?
Most unexpected, Michael Bain.
Oh God, I thought of that.
Well, there's that, yeah.
Apart from that,
best
yeah.
inanimate object.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Oh, best cop, the guy in the cartoon chasing the car.
Okay.
You don't have to include that one.
Yeah, I don't think I'll make it nominees at the end.
I can't think of anything else.
The Funhouse, that's the best inanimate object.
Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, the fairground thing. Yeah, there we go. That'll do us. Any other nominations?
Yeah.
There we go. On to point 9, the moral of the story. What we thought the lesson we're supposed to learn from the film Grease is. Andy, what's your moral of the story?
Life's better in song and dance.
Could be.
Imagine that in Russia right now. Everybody would be well happy in Russia.
Yeah, we should send the Grease soundtrack over. My moral of the story, I feel like this is the moral of the story. If you change who you are, you can get a man. That is the moral of the story. Chris, what's yours?
The only thing I noticed so much was the fact it was smoking, so I put smoking's bad. Okay. Okay.
Point 10, point 10 is a 10-point rating. We were rating movie out of 10. I've had a whole pint, but it was non-alcoholic. We scored a movie out of 10. Andy, alphabetical order, you first.
I don't think I've actually seen this film all the way through, so I think I enjoyed it more than I should have. There's bits that just drag on. However, every song from the musical, which again, learning day, didn't know it was a musical before it was a musical, well, a stage show musical before it was a film musical. So I'm gonna give it a 6.
A 6, a high score from Andy. I don't have any blurb here. I don't know how to explain why I've scored it like this. I've had more fun discussing it on the podcast than I enjoyed watching it. I think the good songs really carry it so much. Like everything that isn't one of the good songs is pretty bad. Everyone's kind of annoying. I don't really understand what's going on. It doesn't seem to be structured particularly well. So I've given it a 3, and I think that's purely because there's 3 good songs and there's 2 good acting performances in it. But
that should be a 5 then, surely.
No, it doesn't. I don't like that. Like say there was 5 good acting performances and 5 good songs. It's not a 10. Like the Blues Brothers would be a good example of that. But yeah, a 3. It's a bit crap, and I think I would just watch the songs rather than the film again. If you know what I'm saying, Chris.
Yeah, I don't know if it's because I've matured a bit or if the spirit of hating this film so much is finally broken down and bits of it are getting through, but I actually didn't mind it this time. I've never noticed all the innuendos before watching it, and it's got quite a few amusing bits, and the bangers are the bangers, as I say. You can, but it wouldn't work without the chemistry between John Travolta and OliviaNewton-John. But yeah, I wouldn't mind watching it again in the next 15 years. So I'll give it a 4.
4 from Chris. That should be.
I generally thought I would be the lowest. No, I thought I'd be the lowest, and Bruce would be higher.
I must admit, from what I remember, I was going into this a 3, but I think I'm like Chris. The innuendos are a bit funny. The rapey's a bit rapey. That's not aged well. But yeah, the kind of the stuff you don't get as a kid.
I went this with a 1.
Way funnier.
And you want to write a 4.
Yeah, but then I thought I'll cheat
John
fairly and I'll
Travolta.
do my usual.
The power of John Travolta. I've dragged it out of the gutters.
Hips have hypnotized me.
I think what I would say, with the exception that John Travolta was dancing, but other than that, I went into this film knowing the good songs, so therefore nothing that I didn't know was coming was good. You know what I'm saying? oh, I've heard the song before. I essentially know all, well, point disproven. I essentially know all the words to this good song. So, like, that's, so I've heard this before. Yeah. That's good. Oh, yeah, I heard it before. But nothing else stood out as being good that happened in the entire 2 hours that we're watching.
I watched it with Nicola because she loves it. And as soon as Summer Nights came on, she just looked at me and she just saw me going, ugh. Because I've heard it so many times at every single disco party thing that's ever been played.
Don't worry, it's back on the list, Chris.
Oh, fuck. As long as Yes So I Can Boogie's on, I'll be happy.
Right then, officially a 4 is our score for Grease, which is probably about right, really, when you think about it. Do we have a guess on what theme the random Wheel of Random is going for picking Misery Falling Down in Grease? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't have a guess, I'll be honest. So
It's a bit, I'm going to say a bit rapey.
you say that every week of every film, I think. I don't think that's the last film we watched you didn't describe as that.
Well, this one was Misery. She definitely like tied him to a bed.
Oh, yeah.
Falling down, maybe.
Fall down.
No.
No, I think that's just. I don't know.
He just wanted to see his kid. He wasn't actually threatening anything.
Bad people?
Yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know.
Because, like, obviously...
Psychopaths.
Yeah.
Bad guys are like the main people so far.
Well, I'm
There's
thinking
Yeah.
of more good people going bad.
Yeah, like yeah. Because he's
Oh, yeah,
a
because
bad.
OliviaNewton-John's gone bad now.
Yeah.
The guy from Falling Down, he was a good guy. He went bad. And now
Yeah.
Kathy... What's she called? Kathy Bates?
Kathy Bates.
Aye.
She's
She was a good nurse and then went bad.
Yeah,
So
she
there
was
we go.
bad.
Yeah, she definitely.
Good people going bad.
Yeah, they're going bad. There we go. Speaking of going bad, Andy's pick is next.
Good news.
Not a great segue. Andy, why don't you tell us what your next pick is?
95?
Right, I'm gonna do a build up in this one. This is a film I've been wanting to do for a long time. But one thing or another, Bruce picks a shit film, Kristen picks a shit film,
Oh, that's
which means which means I can't do it. So now finally I'm allowed to pick a shit film. Now I'm picking this film purely because I'm trying to get into Bruce's psyche. He loves a quirky film. So
Right.
I've went quirky for the first time ever, I reckon, other than Tank Girl, which went down like a lead balloon. So this film, because I'm not allowed to get celebrities on it, I almost did. So I've got the DVD here from a good friend who actually gave me it. He wrote, directed, and starred in this film.
God, right.
And Chris will probably like it when I show him. Bruce, I think I'm on your wavelength of quirkiness. It's a drama comedy.
Right, oh, that's
I've got the Canadian DVD here, so that's a clue for you. It's A Dog's Breakfast by David Hewlett.
right, okay.
So really hard film to get. You've probably never seen it, never heard of it.
I'm sure we're all going to get loaned this DVD in the next week, are we?
Yeah.
Right.
I'm trying to just get into Bruce's psyche. Chris, you're just there for the ride. I'm just trying to see if I can pick a film that Bruce has never heard of and enjoys.
Absolutely.
This is up there with The Room. This is
Right.
where I'm going with this.
Oh, my
Oh,
fucking
good.
God.
Well, we know that's a pinnacle of cinema.
Yeah, you gave
I-
that a 2. It could have been the worst of the worst, but you gave it a 2.
It was amazing, and it was a 2. It can be both, okay?
So you're in for a roller coaster ride next week.
A Dog's Breakfast. Everyone who's viewing along, good luck. Andy will send the DVD around each one of you, and we can all share it. Yeah, enjoy us telling you what happens in A Dog's Breakfast. You'll have 7 days to wait for that, I imagine. Unless it's on
What's it going to be?
Prime Video somewhere. I don't know.
It's on Amazon.
There you go. It's on Amazon. You can find it on Amazon. 7 days, hopefully, and we'll see you next time on the 10 Point Podcast.